You're right, Gangrene UK. Welcome back to episode 44. It is the off season. We're talking free agency, and I'm with Otis, James, and Kane. Welcome along, guys. Thanks for coming.
No problem.
It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, just slightly later than planned, but yeah, it's all good. We're going to talk about free agency today. We'll do the offensive side of the ball, and we'll do defense on another video. Where do we all see us needing to look in free agency? Throw it out to you first, Kane. What are you thinking?
Wide receiver.
Wide receiver? I mean, it's a good shout. I mean, we could probably get rid of a few before we need to get some, but yeah. Otis, what are you thinking?
I think skill positions in general, depth at running back, wide receiver, tight end. I think they're the big ones.
Yep. James, anything different, or are you kind of siding with, let's just pick every position?
Just defensive weapons for Zach, really. I think we can sort the line out in the draft, maybe, and just grab some weapons.
Well, I mean, it's fair. We seem to be doing okay on linemen in the draft, really. So, tell you what, we'll start on running backs. And then we will have a look through the other positions, see what's available on the market. So, when we look at our running backs, who have we got? What you're saying?
I think Carter's the one that stands out as a definite stayer. I think P. Ryan probably sticks around just because of the fact he's on his rookie deal still. Others I've got not too much commitment to just at the moment, just because of cost.
We're not thinking Johnson?
I think you'll pick up someone that's a veteran back that does more than Johnson can do and does it better as well.
That's fair. What are you thinking, Ken? Would you agree that Carter is probably the only solid lockdown?
Yeah, I do like Tevin Coleman, but depends what we could re-sign him for, really.
Yeah, so Tev Coleman is obviously going out as a undrafted free agent for us.
Mm-hmm.
Unrestricted free agent even. I mean, I'm already jumping to draft. But I mean, we got him for like 1.5 million for 1 year. I think we got our money's worth out of him.
Yeah.
Where are you sitting on it, James?
Yeah, pretty similar, to be honest. I can't think of anyone else who, unless you can get them for cheap's really worth paying any more for the production we got out of them. So yeah, roll with Carter and get some more cheap guys in, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at what's available, right? So do you want me to do it on the ones that have played the most? Or do we want to do it on age? Just because we don't want it, like, let's face it, we're not going to be taking anybody too old. We're not at a win now situation. So how should we rank this? Should we do it on, we know people who are taking snaps already, or age? Because I think we can't do it on value.
They've got to be less than 30, I think, to be worthwhile at this point.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we're not going to be looking at Adrian Peterson, who's going free agency at 37. All right. So if we go down to below 30, right, people are becoming available this year. I'll just pick a couple off. We have Amir Abdullah from Panthers, Duke Johnson from the Dolphins, obviously Tevin Coleman, Elijah Penny from the Giants, Ty Montgomery from the Saints, J.D. McKissick from Washington, Malcolm Brown from the Dolphins. And then when we start looking a bit further out to some of the younger guys, Philip Lindsay from the Dolphins, Boston Scott from the Eagles, Matt Breida from the Bills. I mean, there's quite a few players coming available. Leonard Fournette, which, to be honest, he's 27. I thought he was older than that.
No.
I mean, is there any names there that are really jumping out at you where you go, they're worth bringing in over Johnson and P. Ryan, or even more than re-signing Tevin Coleman?
There's three, I think, that you actually didn't mention that I would say are the ones that I'd want to consider. They're probably the ones that cost a little bit more than Coleman's going to cost, but they actually bring something to the offense. I think they'd be Melvin Gordon, Marlon Mack, and I considered Ronald Jones a second as well.
So Ronald Jones the second's only 25 as well.
And Marlon Mack's only 26.
Yeah,
Can you imagine Mack and Carter?
I think I didn't go Melvin Gordon, just because he's 29. He was the next one on the list.
He offers a lot though. He's a good back in pass pro.
Oh, I think we've lost him, but yeah, he is a very good back in pass protection. Yeah, it's an interesting one with Melvin Gordon because it feels like he's been around the league forever. He's done, like, when you think about it, you can always think back to some of his outstanding players where he's been explosive or where he's been strong and just absolutely smashed through a line. And yeah, it's, how do you guys feel about that? That one. Welcome back, Otis. We did just we give him props for being good in pass protection. But yeah, James, where are you thinking? Anybody there on that list that's kind of stood out to you?
I mean, I am a fan of Gordon as well. The only issue with Gordon is he has got a lot of mileage. He's been pounded around a bit. But if we're saying some names, I do like Philip Lindsay. I don't really know what happened with him this year, but in previous years, he's been almost like a cult hero in Denver. So maybe him and Boston Scott I'm also a fan of, but I can't see.
I think Lindsay, it was because he came to the end of his contract and they just didn't see the value in paying him. So he ended up at the Dolphins. And, well, let's face it, the Dolphins this year weren't what the Dolphins were meant to be this year. Anybody you're kind of jumping on with, Kane?
Obviously, Tevin Coleman, if you can resign him for a good deal. I like Fournette. I've always liked Fournette, even when he struggled. But I think he's stepping up a bit now, like in the playoffs and that. So he might be a good veteran presence as well, and Marlon Mack as well. Yeah.
So out of all of those free agency running backs, Leonard Fournette, James Conner, Sony Michel, Darrell Williams at the Chiefs, and Melvin Gordon played the most amount of snaps, and it was over 45% of offensive snaps.
Yeah.
So those are the guys that are pretty much, have been used as 3 down backs.
Yeah. The one that I think offers really good sort of value for money potentially is Ronald Jones from Tampa. I think his cap number this year was only like 2 million. Well, if you could pick up a 25-year-old back who's been a starter, can catch the ball, can pass protect, can run between the tackles, can run outside, he'd be a really interesting one. And I say Gordon for me, just because I think he offers the workhorse side of it to Carter's Lightning.
Yeah, we were saying when you disappeared that he seems to have been around forever, which is why we all think he's a lot older than what he is, but actually he's not, is he? So, I mean, the Ronald Jones one, I like it. And I can't really be anything against it because he's almost the exact same build as Michael Carter. He's 2 inches taller and exactly the same body weight.
Yeah.
He was a second-round pick 38. And, like, I think Carter was somewhere around fourth. Yeah, but it was like, wasn't he predicted to be second round early?
Yeah.
So they're pretty much the exact same talent. It's just one came from USC and one came from Carolina, even North Cal. So running backs wise, I mean, if I'm being honest, there isn't any that I would like hang me hat on and say that's the guy I want. There's some guys that if we got them, I wouldn't be upset. But when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking Ty Johnson, when he was playing, when we had a full set of wide receivers, he seemed to be okay and he had explosive games. So I wouldn't be upset if we kept him. Well, I think he's very cheap anyway. So we'll probably keep him and then just bring in somebody around. We know there's some good running backs in the draft, especially ones that are going to fall to 5th and 6th. So yeah, running backs, what we've kind of got there is we've got Melvin Gordon, Ronald Jones, and maybe what was the other one that we said? Leonard Fournette. They're kind of the 3 that we would say were our tops. I'm just gonna write it down so we can see if any of it comes off. So we all like to be that one that called it.
Marlon Mack as well.
Yeah, Marlon Mack as well is another one.
Yeah, and obviously
he got hurt, didn't he? And that's the only reason he didn't play, really, because he got hurt and then they drafted Taylor, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that pick. So if we move on from running back, we'll jump straight across and we'll go to wide receiver. Now, I feel like straight away, guys, we should just discontinue anything Otis says here, because he sold me a dream on Quandary Davis. And to be fair, I've walked across some bridges in the last couple of weeks and thought, maybe I'll just Quandary Davis straight off the edge. I hope you feel bad. You got me on board. I was all ready for it, and it just didn't happen.
I think that sort of sums up the wide receivers in general, right? This season.
Yeah, apart from Braxton Berrios, but even then, most of that was kick return.
Yeah, all ready for it, and then sort of nothing. That sort of sums up what we thought our wide receivers were going to be, right?
Yeah, exactly. So wide receivers, we have Quandary Davis. I mean, we're keeping him. He's on decent money. We have Elijah Moore, who, as long as he comes back the way that he went out, brilliant.
Yeah.
Braxton Berrios, for me, has to be re-signed.
Yeah.
How much are we paying him, boys?
7.
And how many years?
3. 21 million for the contract.
Guaranteed or
12?
James, what you said?
Yeah, be happy to go to 8, maybe. Yeah,
and still the same 3.
Yeah, 3, 4. He's still pretty young. No easy. But 3 for safety, really.
Yeah, I mean, Braxton Berrios, he is. I'm just trying to load it up. I'll come back to how old he is. 26.
Mm-hmm.
Kane, what you saying? How much you paying him and how long you keeping him?
7 a year, 3 years.
See, so I would do 6 and 5 years, but his last 2 years fully guaranteed, and some nice signing bonus at the beginning. Make him stay, give him solid. Comes out of contract at what? So he'll be 32, and he might get another couple of years somewhere. But then we've got a return man and a slot guy for his 4 years experience in now. We're going to have him through his career. He's hinted that that's the kind of deal that he wants. If we can get him, bonus. But yeah, I wouldn't be upset with any of them prices or them years, to be fair. But it would just be nice for us to kind of go, you know what? We're tying you with Zach, who's his best friend, by the way. They're friends. So yeah, we've got to sign him there. But then when you're looking at wide receivers, are we still saying the same thing? Keep the age low?
Yeah.
So the youngest that are coming out, we've got Quandary Davis.
Yeah. Gallup as well, similar age.
Who, sorry?
Gallup's a similar age to him as well, isn't he? 26, I think.
So Quandary Davis is 24.
Wow. Okay, he's young.
But he hasn't played a single snap. And he is an exclusive free agent. So if we offer him something, the team have a chance to offer to keep him or to drive us up. But yeah, when we go down, I'm trying to find some that have like Jeff Smith's in there. I mean, what would it have to be? I mean, Christian Kirk, he's a year older. Like Jeff Smith, Christian Kirk, I mean, slightly different player, but Chris Godwin, 26, from the Buccaneers, obviously out with ACL at the minute.
Yeah.
I don't know how bad that is, whether it's surgery or what.
It's going to be surgery, I think.
Yeah. So Then you've got Traquan Smith from the Saints.
Yeah.
Ray McLeod, James Washington, both becoming free agents. Michael Gallup, he's got an injury as well.
Yeah.
Equanimous St. Brown. I mean, I was a fan of him coming into the league. I mean, he's kind of been outshadowed with the sheer fact that he's in that Green Bay team with Jones and everybody. Like, that isn't him, which, yeah, we all know what it's like in Green Bay. Juju, if we want to go down that route again, seems to have been better this year, but
hasn't produced like he should, though, is he?
No, and he's another slot guy, really, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's another Antonio Brown type guy, isn't he?
The TikTok guy, me guy.
No, that's Pat Mahomes' brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anybody else that you guys know has come in that you might want to look at? Because I mean, this list obviously is massive.
Odell Beckham is probably the only one.
Mike Williams.
I quite like Christian Kirk, to be fair.
So we got Christian Kirk from the Chargers, Mike Williams from the Chargers, and who did you say? Sorry, Kane.
Christian Kirk's Cardinals.
Sorry, what did I say?
Chargers.
Mike Williams is Chargers, Cardinals, and then who did you say? Sorry,
Odell Beckham.
Browns.
Rams.
I can't see him on the list.
Them Rams. He is.
Oh yeah, he's moved over, hasn't he? That's why he's not on the list, because it's looking at teams. Is he going to be a free agent, or have they extended him?
They haven't extended it. They haven't extended him yet, have they? But they're on about potentially franchise tagging him, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd love that. I mean, I can't see him on there. So
he's earning it, isn't he? Let's be honest. He's 7 touchdowns all season with Baker, and then 7 in 8 games.
Sorry, he is on there, and his contract is void. So yeah, he's 30. They're paying him $2 million.
Yeah, they paid him in Bitcoin, didn't they? And then price plummeted.
Yeah, his contract's worth nothing now, virtually.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Especially after tax.
Few people have been hit with Bitcoin this week. The easiest way to lose money slowly, guys. Yeah, so wide receiver wise, there's a couple again. Come on, guys. Otis, tell us who you're fancying, if you're fancying, or is this a position that you go, I am going draft?
If I'm picking up anyone, I want a big body guy. I've had enough of this Elijah Moore on the outside jobby. Elijah Moore's not big enough to play in the NFL on the outside. He's more than skilled enough. I don't disagree. I think skill-wise, the guy could do it. But playing against big physical corners in Buffalo, big physical corners in Miami, big physical corners in the Patriots, that's 6 games a year where he's going to get bullied. It's just not fair on him, and it's not productive for the team. We've got to get somebody that's of the 6'1" to 6'3" to 4" measurement on the outside to give him a big target, Corey Davis type size, and let the smaller guys, Berrios and Moore, run the inside.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what you've just described there is what Denzel Mims was meant to be.
Yeah, which is what Mike Williams is at the Chargers. You know,
Yeah.
he's in the corner of the end zone, launch it to him somewhere, and he'll catch it.
6'3", 210, 220.
Yep.
Bit of speed. So you're saying Mike Williams, right? I'm going to put it down. James, what are you saying?
Couple, really. I like Kirk and seeing MVS as well from Packers. I mean, I don't know if he'll be as good without Rodgers, but
he's a great deep threat, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I know the outside as well, so I could see it with MVS. So yeah, I'd go with them too, to be honest.
No, I'm quite glad that you brought up MVS, because he is one of those players that I do feel has been slightly underrated because he's a bit one-dimensional within the Packers. But he's 6'5", 207, so he's the same weight as Mims and 2 inches taller. But he actually plays a lot bigger than we've ever seen from Mims. Kane, what you saying? Anybody standing out?
I'd rather draft.
Yeah, I feel like that's where I'm at. I'm at that point where I feel like Otis sold me a dream and it turned out to be a dud. So I'd rather draft, and if it's a dud, you know what? We had a risk.
Yeah, I'd rather draft. I'd like to take Odell if it becomes available for cheap to replace Crowder and help anyone else, basically. Adds another weapon anyway. But,
yeah, I think the way Beckham's played since going to the Rams has kind of shown you that it wasn't all him when he was in Cleveland.
No.
But let's face it, we've all said Baker's not the man.
But like a big-bodied wide receiver, challenging, going up for it.
It's the size thing. He needs the size, doesn't he? We're playing it like you've seen it in both New England and Miami and the Bills. We're playing physical football all the time. Look how physical the playoffs have been. It's no good having a wide receiver that can't take a big hit. You need your guy that you can throw it up to. I know the Bengals, have done what they've done. They've got some sizable wide receivers, although they're not all giants. They're sizable guys, and they can jump out the building. Go on.
T. Higgins is quite tall, isn't he? And long.
T. Higgins is big and long. Chase jumps out of the blooming stadium every time he leaves the floor, doesn't he? It's just ridiculous. I think it's just showing that outside you need someone bigger. I think it was part of the problem for the Chiefs, I think, last night for me. They just lack that big-bodied guy that can just take the corner and bully him. Especially when you saw it at the end zone. Kelsey gets so many targets for him, so many touchdowns because he bullies the defender he's got against him. They haven't got a wide receiver that can do that, which means if you double Kelsey, you're okay, which is what they struggle with.
It would be a nice position, that though, wouldn't it, for us to just have a tight end to throw the ball to?
Yeah.
Right. So if we leave the skill positions and we go towards the O-line, right, this is where most Jets fans could have a fight. Number 11th ranked O-line by the end of the season. You would think that we had the worst O-line in the league, the way some people go on. There was vast improvement. What position of any should we be looking at now? Because for me, left guard is set. I think we're good. I don't even think we need depth because I think we've got that with players that we've got. Now, we do have a few players hitting free agency on the line in Connor McDermott, right guard. LDT will be a free agent.
Yeah.
Now, the thing with LDT, he was very, very good when he came in. However, there is talk that if he doesn't go back to medicine this year, he will lose his doctorate.
Yeah.
Which, for me, is he's probably going to go and do his doctorate, if we're being honest. So he might take a year out, but he's 31 now. So if you can maybe deter it, it might be worth him re-signing for another year. But I think right guard is where we're going to be looking. We have got a couple of other players going up. I think centre. We have a couple that are down at centre, but they've moved them off because Feeney is down as a centre on some lists.
Yeah, I think right guard, right tackle.
Right guard's a big one, I think, isn't it?
Right. So if we're looking at right guard, what we wanting from a right guard, James? Are we wanting youth, experience?
I think the experience more than anything, because you've got quite a youthful left side anyway. So maybe get a more trusted guy in the league who's been in for a couple of years on that side for me.
Right.
There's a few guys for me, I think, that have played serious snaps that are available, and if they make it, you're gonna have to pay them, but they'd shore up that right side real fast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at one of the ones who's played 100% of offensive snaps this year, and I'm thinking he's been in a pretty solid O-line, which is Alex Kappa.
Yeah.
Now, given all the free agencies that Tampa have got, and the fact that they are currently sitting at £459,747 in cap space after their draft, they are not going to be making any big signings without saving some money. Now, obviously, there is that TB12 money that could be freed up. But that for me, that would be a nice pickup. He's 27.
Yeah. The other one that's 27 that I like as well, big profile draftee when he was brought in, Will Hernandez.
Yeah.
Only plays, knows the stadium, knows the turf, knows the area, doesn't need to move. Just come and play for the Jets, mate.
Yeah, and I mean, there's lots of changes happening at the Giants. So,
yep.
And
he's big and nasty. He's the type of guy that would fit his own scheme. Like he's nasty.
Any for you, James?
I quite like Corbett from the Rams. I don't think they're going to be able to pay him. So,
agreed again.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm quite excited when I look at this list.
There's some good right guards available.
Yeah. And none of them are massively expensive.
No, and that it doesn't tend to be a position that is expensive either, does it? It doesn't get overvalued.
Nah, so this is what, like, I think this is a bit of a fallacy, because actually now the way the league's changing and you're having mobile QBs, right tackle and right guard are almost now on the same pay as left tackles. Over the last couple of contracts, you are seeing that right guards and right tackles are getting paid just as much as left guards and left tackles. It's becoming more of a flat pay scale, because I was under the same impression. And then I started looking at it, and actually some of the higher contracts have actually gone to right tackles, because the blind side now, you need a good left tackle, but you've got edges coming, you've got safeties coming from everywhere, just the way the game's changed. So
I think the fact that the game's gone so much to a passing game as well, that generally the idea that you have one good defensive end's gone as well. You look back in the day, the Packers' great defense had Reggie White. You look back in the day at the Cowboys' great defense, you had DeMarcus Ware. Who was the guy on the other end? Does anyone remember the guy on the other side? No, because you only had to protect the blind side because it was DeMarcus.
There was a guy on the other side.
Yeah, that's it. It wasn't such a priority, was it?
Yeah.
Whereas now, any guy that's 6'5" and 300 pounds that can run faster than an offensive tackle needs to is a defensive end, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's that thing now where, money aside, I don't think any of these guys are going to be looking for crazy numbers.
No, just
which
good start.
also means that some of these guys probably ain't going to hit free agency.
Agreed.
But Will Hernandez, Alex Kappa, Brandon Schiff, however you say it, and even Corbett, we are looking at their last contracts, so they are going to want a little bit more.
The other one as well is the guy from the Bears, right? He's even younger though, isn't he? He's properly young, 25, right? Josh Daniels.
Yeah,
James Daniels is 25, yeah.
He's a kid, but he's brilliant. He's played 100% of snaps for the Bears, I think.
Yeah, he's just coming off his rookie. He's going to expect a little bit of money. But you know what? If he's playing 100% of snaps and he's doing that, I mean, they've got the money to pay him, the Bears. They've got 25 million free. So to pick up a player of his caliber, it's definitely there.
Yeah.
Kane, anybody for you?
Literally everyone said so.
Yeah, I mean, it's that thing of you look at it and go, there's lots of players.
It's worth paying the money for something, for a position like that, and then it opens up the draft, doesn't it, for us?
Yeah. Let us go best player available, doesn't it? We all talk about this wonderful scenario of best player available, and we've actually got a chance potentially to get there this year.
Yep.
I don't think we can do anything else at 4.
Oh, at 4 we definitely can. I don't think you can do anything but that.
obviously we've been doing mock drafts, and like I've waited until this week before I even drafted Hamilton, because I just don't see it as a major need. We've got so many safeties on the team at the minute that we must have a decent set. Like, we've never had them all fit. But when I look at it and think, if we're just taking best player available, I still don't think I would pick him.
I got him at 10 in my first mock draft, I think, potentially, that I did for the page. If he was there at 10, I'd literally be running
at 10, that's a totally different story.
Yeah, I'd be running it there.
But I mean, yeah, I've had it where I've lost everybody by 10. Like, my first 3 picks have gone by 10. I'm pretty sure somebody sits there going, I'm going to mess with his head this week. But yeah, it's an interesting one that way around of if we fill that one gap. Because actually, I think with Feeney, I would re-sign Feeney because he's a good guard switching and he's a centre.
Yeah, he can play more positions.
Yeah. And then personally, I would also draft a centre, but we'll save that for final mock draft.
Later, you don't have to do that in the first round. But...
Oh no, I'm picking well late, like last pick of the draft for me. But yeah, then we look at right tackle. Now, Morgan Moses is a free agent.
Yep.
We have, I'm assuming that everybody's still on the same page that George Fant deserves a shot at left tackle.
Yeah, has to.
So that means Mekhi Becton will move to right tackle.
Yep.
We've got Vera Tucker. We've got Gove and Feeney in the middle. Somebody we've just talked about at guard. Right tackle, do we take a vet or do we draft?
I would sign one in free agency just in case Becton doesn't come back. Fant doesn't come back the way he did.
I agree. I'd sign an older guy in free agency. I'd be looking at one of the guys that's 30 plus, that's only going to be maybe vet minimum 1.75, 1.5, something like that, and just go, you'll do just for this season as a backup. To be honest, I'd potentially look back at Moses and go, you know what? Do you want 2 or 3 million to come back?
You're 31. Do you want the same contract again? Or, you know what? We'll match your contract for 2 years.
Yeah. You've already got a house here. You've already got your kids in school here. Here's the money.
We paid him 3.6. 3.1 of it guaranteed. I mean, you could up that to 4 and give him 3 year. I mean, I wouldn't be angry at it because then look at that. We've got an actual swing tackle, which, I mean, I honestly, I hoped Adoga was going to be that guy.
Yeah.
God, was I a dumbass. That was never going to happen, was it? But I mean, wishful thinking and all that. I mean, I've been told this weekend that I'm too optimistic anyway. So, yeah. Oh, well. Not changing, mofos. Before we move off the offense, guys, I'm going to put kicker.
We didn't do the most important.
Yeah. Missing the best one.
Which one?
Tight ends.
Oh, did I not do tight ends? Do you know what? It's because I started on tight ends in my head. Right, yeah, so okay, we'll do tight ends. I apologize, guys. I thought we'd done that. So obviously this is the biggest part of need, and we've left it till second last. What we think in tight end, are we doing age or snaps?
Snaps, because you want to start, right?
Yeah.
You want one of the big boys, surely. This has got to be one of the top 2 or 3 available, surely.
Right, so the one that everybody's going to pick is there. He's got 80% of the snaps. He's only 26, and it's Dalton Schultz. I mean...
Come on. Give us that one.
What, you want it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do we really need to talk? I mean, if he doesn't make it though, guys, where are we looking? So you've got Tyler Conklin, Zach Ertz. Like, for me, Zach Ertz, he's last year's news, he's done. Yeah. CJ Azoma from the Bengals, who's had a great year.
Got injured, though.
What was that, sorry?
Just got injured, though, didn't
Yeah, he hurt his ankle or his knee last night.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, my favourite on the board, I've liked him since Penn. It's Mike Gesicki from the Dolphins, who actually looking at it with their changes might not even hit free agency now.
The next guy's interesting.
Yeah, now Evan Ingram from the Giants.
Yeah.
Kid's got major talent if you flex him out.
It's a bit of an injury-prone guy.
I mean, yeah, but that's because he's getting thrown balls from Daniel Jones and he just gets battered because he never gets hit where he needs to be hit.
He's a tempter, isn't he? I think the nice thing with him is he'd be sensible money too. He's the type of guy that could catch 100 passes in the league easily, I think.
Yeah, so his average yearly at the minute is 2.7, and he's had 10 million in guarantees over his last contract.
Yeah,
it's not a lot of money really. I mean, Schultz is coming out a rookie deal, so he's going to want paying.
He's going to be 10 million a year at least.
Yeah, I haven't got, but to be fair, he has to go from the Cowboys because currently they need to save 25 million before they can even pay their draft fees.
It depends a little bit on who they cut in terms of wide receivers, though, doesn't it? Because if Cooper goes, isn't Cooper like 22 of that?
Yeah, but it's that thing of it's not about cutting because if they cut, they've got dead money.
No, they'll trade him for like a second or third round pick, won't they? Cooper will be gone, I think.
Yeah, but I think because of the state that they're in, actually, there is a way for us to kind of go, you know what, guys? We're not going to do that.
No.
You can have a fourth round and be happy because we're saving you all that money, which should happen with a few players. I mean, if we're looking in there and we're going down to somebody who's a little bit different, Jared Cook is an old one. If you wanted to bring in an old and draft a young, I mean, he's had pretty solid play. Or David Njoku from the Browns.
Go down a bit further. OJ Howard.
Yeah, he ain't been used much either. So.
No, his miles are fairly good. He's learned from Gronk, you'd have thought, wouldn't you? And Cameron Brake that's been there as well. He should know how to play the game. Yeah. The other one I think that's interesting, although the knee injury scares me a little bit, is Robert Tonyan.
Do you know what? I was looking at Tonyan there and I'm like,
a really productive tight end. He's big, he blocks, he catches and runs well, but you just don't know, do you? That knee injury wasn't a nice one for him.
I mean, Will Disley from the Seahawks isn't horrendous, but I just feel he's more of the same.
Yeah, he's not a standout, is he, by any means?
No, he's just Tyler Croft.
Yeah.
Anybody stand out for you, James? Or any I think we've all decided that we are drafting a tight end at some point. So really, we're not looking at a dead starter here. We are looking at just somebody to add to the roster.
Yeah, anyone hasn't said already, you're just looking for a receiving weapon. Everett from the Seahawks is pretty good, very inconsistent, but he's had some big games in his career. So, yeah, but second everyone else really. So.
Yeah, cool. So if you had to go around, guys, and you can only pick one, who you picking?
Tight end or in general?
No, tight end.
Okay.
Kane, starting with you.
Njoku.
Otis.
Dalton Schultz.
James.
I'll go Gesicki, although it might be yours, dude.
Well, we knew that one were going to be mine. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to stick with him as well. So I just like the pick. He's yeah. There's not really much more to say, is there? It's like
interesting that we didn't choose the most durable one of the lot.
Zach Ertz.
No, Tyler Conklin.
Yeah. Do you know what? Right.
Played the most snaps this year. Has been pretty consistent for
and
the Vikings.
Is he more of a blocker?
Does both.
Oh.
I mean, he's kept Chris Herndon out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard, but right. So obviously we know where we're going next because I've already said kicker. Now, I think everything to do with a kicker has been proven by the man with great length, the man with balls of steel, who has the actual audacity to call a game before he's even kicked. The man who I wanted last year, Evan McPherson, has proven this year that actually drafting a kicker can be beneficial when it's the right kicker. Personally, I don't think the right kicker's coming out of school this year. Now, we have Eddie Pinero. He is a free agent this year. I think we do bring him back. But there is a few players coming available that I'm like, I wouldn't be angry.
No.
Like Young Hoku, Matt Gay,
yeah.
Nick Falk,
Dustin Hopkins.
Yeah.
Randy Bull.
That's a man with great length. Dustin Hopkins.
It's a lot.
I mean, I feel like everybody took the mick out of me last year for talking about great length kickers. But you're all on board now. You all see what I saw. I mean, can't draft fantasy for crap. Give me a kicker. I'll tell you a good one. Do we take a punt and try somebody in free agency? Or are we going to go for an undrafted free agent?
I mean, if you get one of the solid ones for all right money, then you can't complain, really, can you?
Yeah, I think we've got to look at one of them. I think one free agent's got to come in, one undrafted's got to come in, and you let the undrafted fight the regular guy, right, for a bit of camp leg. Whether it's Eddie Pinero, whether it's Gay or Hopkins or one of those guys. I think you've got to take one free agent, one undrafted. Yeah,
I feel like Pinero, he doesn't have the length because he doesn't even take kickoffs. That's gone to Braden Mann now.
He kicks too flat as well.
Yeah, well, because he's soccer. That's his background. He went into American football when he went to college. So he has literally only been kicking for about 9 years.
Yeah.
The only one on there where I'm like, yeah, I'd probably pay them is Young Hoku.
Yeah.
Really?
He's the only one where because he's 28. He's just coming off probably back-to-back 2 best seasons. All of the others are good, but I just think we'd get Ku at a fair price.
Yeah, Matt Gay is good as well. Very good, but I don't know.
He is, but I don't think he's going to make free agency.
No, there is that as well.
Where Ku, I think, could, because it's the Falcons, and let's face it, they love blowing everything.
Well, they're in complete rebuild now, aren't they?
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it was just an interesting one. I thought I would put it out to see if anybody's minds had changed, given obviously what had happened over the last couple of weeks. So yeah, we're all pretty good on that one. Right. Well, thanks for joining us on the offensive side of free agency, guys. Join us next time. We'll do the defense, and we might even talk long snappers.